This is your first ever Hyundai Venue, new for the 2020 model year. It is their subcompact crossover. Let's go Quirks, Irks, and Irks. Starting up front, that is a lot of grille for a little car. I think it's a little bit of overkill over grille, and to me, it just doesn't suit the vehicle all that well. It looks cool, like it's got some cool patterns and designs to it, but just a little too much for me. This big, massive shape here is your LED day runner. That's your high beam, low beam. And this cool thing is part of your cornering light system. I'm in the top trim ultimate, so it's got all the bells and whistles. And because the turn signal's on, that goes on and helps you see around corners a little better than you would be able to without it. And as a comparison point, no turn signal. Still have your LED in your day, your low beam, high beam, but that cornering light is not activated. So that's gonna take care of the front. Let's take a look at the quarter view. High proportions, kind of reminds me of that Suzuki SX4, not nearly as ugly as that though, and the first generation Nissan Versa sedan, which was much taller than I believe it should have been. One cool thing you do get is a LED turn signal, and it's kind of a cool shape, it's a nice little C shape. We'll take a look there. Really nice, and there's that nice silver pattern separating the two. Everyone gets a keyless entry, nice, simple to use. I don't care that it's black and not body colored. Good side profile of the vehicle, and you can see just how tall it is, but you know what, it's not ill proportioned. I think it looks fine. I have no problems with the way the height is on the vehicle. Let's take a look at the rear. What I like is it's a perk and a quirk, a triangular turn signal. Pretty cool. Still halogen, not LED, but your rear lights are LED, and it's got that cool Z shape to it along with the three pillars. Really nice design work there, Hyundai, and your reverse lights are there. Quirk, the word venue is actually in white. It's got a silver trim, but you know, the Hyundai logo is in silver, and you can tell just looking at the N, definitely white. So I think that's an interesting design touch, and I'm gonna go mostly quirk, but part perk for that. Take a look in the trunk. Hyundai's got this cool system where you don't have to take this out ever, not ever, but you've got to take it out less, because if it's off its hooks like it is here, and that just goes up there to hold it in place, there it is. What you can do is just pull it back and it slides down. So for taller items, that can just stay in the vehicle the entire time. Now you can take it out if need be, but don't feel like you have to. Borrowing from Nissan's Divide and Hide, the cargo floor has two levels. This is where it's flush with the hard plastic, and you just pull it down and slide it forward again, and you get a lot more space, and half a J Canna's hand worth. Let's take a look at the inside, starting with the rear of the 2020 Hyundai Venue. Nice two-tone seats, leatherette here on the top trim Ultimate, which is what I have, and this nice textured cloth. There's some design lines you can see there going that way and that way, and on the seat back it's a little more pronounced with a gray line and a silver / lighter gray line. Seats down, come on, there we go. So they don't go fully flat in comparison to that when the floor is flat. That's a lot of rhymes. If you raise this, the floor up in the trunk, as I showed you in an earlier part of the video, it's a little closer, but right now there's about half my hand's width as far as depth between the rear, the floor being down and the seat being down. So if you're going to IKEA, just keep that in mind. Here's an Irk, and I think Hyundai really missed the boat on this. There are no USB ports back here. This is a top trim Ultimate, and for a car targeted towards millennials, I think they should have at least had one in there, if not two. Anyways, moving right along, let's take a look up front. Nice, clean, simple, easy to use door panel. You got your locks and your windows and your power mirrors. The handle is nice and big, and it reminds me of the shape of the grille, just as far as that big rectangle goes. And there's your speaker cover, 6 speakers overall. Blank panel switch, top trim, not the greatest thing for me, but it is a subcompact crossover that gets people in the market, so not the worst thing for me. What I like is that it's all manual seating adjustments, saves weight, so that's how you get your seat higher, and that's how you get the back, and the rail at the bottom is how you go forwards, backwards. And you still have that nice textured design on the seat, going that way, and same thing you saw on the rear seat. Side bolsters are surprisingly great, considering the class of car this is, and the thigh bolsters, well, they're kind of thin and a little flimsy, but you're not driving this for speed, you're driving it for practicality. All right, let's get in. Let's get rid of my notes, because I think I know almost everything about the car. push button start. Sorry if that sounded like a jerky thing for me, but I think I know the car fairly well enough. So there's your steering wheel, typical Hyundai. Nothing new and revolutionary here. They've borrowed, and interestingly, this car is built off the Accent platform, shares an engine with the Accent, and we'll get into more of that in the drive portion. Little tiny, not in a bad way, just a small digital screen in the middle, analog dials on the bookends, and again, so simple with Hyundai. You just push that, and you get all sorts of different information. So let's keep that there. Here's a quirk. This whole thing moves up and down, as opposed to just this moving and the vent slots moving like you have here where they go up and down. So I think that's a kind of an interesting thing there. I noticed that as soon as I got in the vehicle. Turn signals and your lights, and I still love this so much about Hyundai, how it tells you exactly what position your lights are in, and the same thing with your wipers. Everybody gets an 8-inch touch screen for their infotainment, and that is a smart move. Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, for me, win by a mile or a kilometer. I'm Canadian. As far as infotainment goes, you have a touchscreen, you have a dial, and hard touch buttons, and your HVAC is also hard touch. So that's your dial to get your speed up, air conditioning, and how you want your air. That's just a fixed display, and that little button gets you different directions of air. That gets your heat. No dual heating zones, just a single one, and that puts it off. So simple, so easy. Sorry for the camera move there. With this one, the top trim, you get 2 USBs and a 12 volt right there. Other ones get 1 USB and a 12 volt. I think Hyundai could have put something here as far as branding goes, or just something cool and designy. I think they missed the boat on that. They also missed the boat on putting an H logo here. I wish they would have done it, but that's just me. Perned, nice, clean, simple, standard. No one's going to use the manual shift mode because it's a CVT, or Hyundai calls it an IVT. So thankfully there are no paddle shifters, and I wish they would just make it one straight line and get rid of this nonsense. Because this is the top trim, you get heated seats and a heated steering wheel. 3-stage heated seats and a 1-stage heated steering wheel, whatever. Drive modes, you have 3 of them. You have Sport, you have Snow, and you have Normal. Sport doesn't do too much. I kept it in Sport, Normal most of the week. I did try it out in Sport, but didn't really experience all that much of a difference. This is sweet, a manual handbrake. Something you don't really see, and kind of weird for a car targeted towards millennials. You know, they want the newest and latest and greatest, and I don't really blame them. So I would have thought there would have been like a little button somewhere, like maybe here instead of a blank panel switch. A couple of cup holders. Not all trims get a sliding armrest. This one does, and I believe the Preferred, which is the second out of 4. You got your glove box, a little bit of space there. Here's something that's really cool. A little bit of extra storage. An iPhone 10 fits in here nicely. Well done, Hyundai, on that side as well. And just going back to the infotainment, it's such a clean and smart and simple layout. Impossible to beat for me. Just, you can't beat that. Top trim gets a sunroof. I don't think they needed to put that in there. Just adds a little bit of weight to the vehicle, but that's Hyundai, and especially with the lighter colored roof liner, it doesn't need to be opened up anymore with the natural light. Again, just my 2 cents. I love sunroofs, and all my cars have them. Let's do the drive. 2020 Hyundai Venue. You get one engine choice, and that is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine, 121 horsepower, 113 pound-feet of torque. Strangely, it's offered with a manual gearbox, and that is your essential trim, which is the entry-level trim. And I don't know why they do that. The manual transmission sales have been on a constant decline. On the other 3 trims, as well as the entry-level essential, you can get their IVT, which is their intelligent variable transmission, also known as a CVT, which is the continuous variable transmission. So that's what 99.9% of people are going to be driving when they, if they pick up a Hyundai Venue. Not bad as far as the drive goes. It's actually surprisingly good. It's not meant to be fast. It's not meant to be agile. As far as, cornering, handling, and turning, for what it is, for the price point, for the engine, it does incredibly well. It's a very short vehicle. It's only 13.25 feet long, so it's very easy to drive. It's easy to park, whether you're parallel parking or doing conventional parking lot parking. Fuel efficiency for the Hyundai Venue runs off a 45-liter tank of regular fuel, 8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 7 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, for a blended total of 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Also, there's no all-wheel drive option on this. Hyundai thought about it and they're like, well, it's going to add weight and it's going to add money, so let's go front-wheel drive only. But they do have a snow mode, so if you put a good set of winter tires on, I think you'll be okay. Creature comforts, the big irk for me is, for a car pushed at millennials, there is no option for a wireless charger. There's no USB ports in the back. Some of the trims get one USB port up front and the higher trims get 2. I think Hyundai really missed it there. I think they should have at least done one of the two, between a wireless charger or dumping a couple of chargers in the rear seats. It's just not a big fan. On the flip side, Apple Carplay and Android Auto are standard features, so there's always that. The 8-inch touchscreen is a standard feature. Navigation only comes on the top trim. Let's talk safety while I'm at a red light. The top trim Ultimate, which is what I have, comes with lane keep assist, forward collision avoidance, high beam assist, lane centering assist, rear cross traffic alert, and blind spot monitoring. In fact, every trim but the base trim gets the lane centering assist, rear cross traffic alert, and blind spot monitoring. So well done, Hyundai, on the safety side of that. And Hyundai, Genesis, Kia are absolute masters of doing the lane keep assist. It is just so well done, and it is so smooth, and it's not intrusive. It doesn't jerk you back into your lane. It just gives you that nice, gentle nudge. Price point, Essential starts around $17,000. You max out at the Ultimate trim, which runs around $25,000. Stepped away as far as the nameplate goes. Their SUVs usually end up being places like the Santa Fe and the Tucson and the Telluride. So from what I read, Hyundai called this the Venue because it's a place that kids want to be. Sort of kids, millennials, young adults. Overall, I'm a fan of the Hyundai Venue. I think it's a great vehicle. Lots of cargo space. By no means is it the class leader, but that sliding privacy shade is a very smart move. And I see them going head-to-head with the Nissan Kicks with this. And Kicks is a great vehicle. I've driven it a bunch of times, and I don't have any really bad things to say about it. So what I do think is that giving consumers more choice is always a good option. Great gateway vehicle to get into the Hyundai brand. And, you know, the older they get, the bigger their families and needs get, they'll jump up to the Tucson, and then the Santa Fe, and then the Telluride, and so on and so on. And there is your free marketing lesson. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be back sooner than later with my next car review.